The Riddles of Barabbas, Chapter 7, The Parable of the Envelope. J. Bethlehem had never left the lands round Galilee. Would Jabar's visits to Jerusalem now number 3? He hesitated now because of fear he might get tackled by the Jewish leaders at the Feast of Tabernacles. His brother said, "We think you'd get a following much quicker. If you had more witnesses, you'd be a public figure." He told his brothers, "You should go because you do not tell. Your Father works on Sabbath, or the world is fit for hell." The question of the tabernacle feast that John has published: were words here said by Jesus said in secret or in public? When not hearing his words there and not looking at his face, opinions still were voiced, and some would advocate the case. Some people said emphatically this Jesus is a good one, because he gives instruction how to reach eternal heaven. They boasted, "With his help we have a covenant with death. No mortal scourge can touch our souls. We're safe within his breath." But others said, "You sillies know this contract is deceitful. He sets you up to fall for any demagogue or weasel. Will promise hell eternal to whoever doesn't swallow his lying tongue, his wicked schemes, his feet to evil follow." Nothing said out loud, of course. They feared humiliation. They didn't have conviction of a forceful explanation. Since neither group can prove the other side's the one who's blighted, their silence from the cautious will leave this unknown not righted. J. Bar came to the festival by teaching such and such, but what exactly they were taught, John doesn't say that much. This secret public teaching at Jerusalem was such, the Jews, they were surprised this man J. Bar knew so much. His teaching at the feast was like a box, blank page, or bag. It's just an open page where you can put some good or bad. A blank page for a sinner or a saint on which to jot, like Moses first used scrolls to share on righteousness his thoughts. When Moses wrote God's words on parchment and said to obey, a blank page that had been there was no more. It poofed away. This being of non-presence had self-righteous things to say about those who would write in words and symbols gone astray. You have no respect for what's not written on a page. You kill it, filling it with rules and customs for the age. This metaphor for J-Bar saying nothing is very critical, when he'd said nothing really, since his absence was quite literal. Of course nobody knows how John has wrapped his text in riddles, so nobody is seeking metaphors or cryptic symbols. Barabbas was announcing that he did a single sign. The lame man at Bethesda seemed to be walking just fine. But then outside he boasted, "Every day my Father works," promoting working 7 days a week with not a perk. The trouble with this miracle is not within the healing, but it's the Sabbath rest, this blessing that the teacher's stealing. The words this man had spoken were announced quite loud and clear, and no one was preventing them from getting in their ear. Some people at the feast concluded this must be Messiah, because nobody tried to kill the man or his idea. Though attendance he declined, this choice he had decided. They had his return address, so they knew where he resided. They knew that if Messiah came, his address had no impact. The Spirit and the truth are independent of the contact. The message said, "You know me, and you know from where I've come, but till you read my contents, there is no lie to succumb." At this they tried to seize, the source of wisdom wasn't there. While some thought to Messiah, would this non-teaching compare? The Pharisees, they sent the temple guards out to arrest, but papers only blank before the writer's thoughts confessed. Once words are on the page, or lasting thoughts are in the mind, a blank slate you might seek, but never quite completely find. On the last day of the feast, J. Bar changed what he yelled. He'd been performing nothing, now he changed to the inkwell. "If you're an inkpen who is empty, come to me and drink. Rivers of spirit flow like Zechariah the 14th. So half the living water flowed west to Mediterranean, out to abundant species both familiar and alien. The other half they closed their eyes and tried hard not to see. This world they said they hated as they floated east to Dead Sea." Those who glorified what Jabar had said at the festival could fill in what they thought he meant. His teaching was quite flexible. But how can son of father be Messiah who is fated? He should be son of Bethlehem, a Jesse, root of David. No one can seize the meaning of a page that's not been written. So when the guards went out to grab the man whose words are hidden, said no one's uttered words the way this man who isn't there does. Said Pharisees, the crowd's deceived by lack of knowing good laws. Nicodemus pointed out we don't know what he's doing. The Pharisees replied, but this J-bar is too much moving. The prophet leaves once only from his house at Galilee, and as for festival of tabernacles, never seen.